Welcome everybody, thanks for stopping by to see what I've got cooking up here at the Method Mantis channel. I was recently interacting with some comments in one of my shorts, and it became apparent that it might be a useful idea to put together a series of videos centered around things I wish I knew when I started playing R.E.P.O. Things that could be beneficial for beginners, maybe even intermediate players, and people that are new to the game, just trying to figure their way around things. When the game was still pretty new and I had not been playing for very long, I did put together a series of walkthrough videos, a full commentary of levels 1 through 10. But since that time, there have been a lot of updates, a lot of additions, a lot of game changes. So I thought that it would be smart to update things as well as share some of the things that still hold true from the original starting point of the game. I definitely would like to give a shout out to a couple of content creators, one called Cynic and one called Bread, who are very, very good at R.E.P.O, way better than I am, and watching them early on helped me figure out some things. And I definitely recommend that if you're interested in seeing some really, really high level play, to check them out, and I will post their names in the description so that you can be able to find them if you want to. Also, the devs from SemiWorks Studios who created the game, with their posting of constant updates and information, just do a great job of keeping the player base informed of what's going on in the game, as well as what's coming up and what they're working on for the future of the game. In this video, you're going to see some clips that are pretty randomly put together for my own gameplay that are all over the place in terms of strategy, techniques, fighting stuff, but all are things that I think will help the new player to figure out how things work and to get better faster. That being said, let's get into it. One more thing before we get down to business. I would definitely encourage anyone checking this video out, whether that's someone who's brand new to my content or any of the awesome people who are consistently watching my stuff and interacting with me through the comments. I would love to hear any suggestions you have, any types of videos you'd like to see, challenges, just anything like that that could be constructive to what I'm doing here, and also provide the opportunity to have more interaction with the people who are supporting my channel. Okay, now in this clip, this is level 1. As you can see, I have no weapons, no upgrades, whatever. The key here is to know what monsters are in front of you, how they operate, and how and when to approach and not approach them. You just saw the rogue walk through and bust those red balloons, which means the birthday boy is going to come from wherever he is on the map to try to get at whoever busted his balloons, which is going to be you almost all the time. Now, I know I'm not going to mess with rogue because I don't have any upgrades or any weapons, but I know with this item I can do a lot of damage to the birthday boy. Plus, I got a little move for him after this item breaks. Now, this item is going to break before I can take him out, but there is a move you can do if you jump, sprint, and tumble launch that will do enough damage to finish him off. And as you can see, it takes 5 of my HP off, but I totally believe the trade is worth it. And another cool thing here, only in Swift Room Academy, which is my favorite map, and there's tons of interactive things on this map that aren't on others, but you'll find these potions that are in these green jugs. And if you break them, they give you health back. I'm pretty sure they give you 10 HP back. Might be 20. But anyway, next clip. Now here I want to show something cool you can do with one of the specific items. It can be really helpful if you have no weapons or very limited weapons. There are cameras in the game. There's a camera here in Mechanic Station and an old-timey one in Headman Manor that both have the same effect, okay? Now you'll see the Reaper walking around, and I've got weapons here. I could, fight her and do pretty well. But for the sake of information, I'm going to show you guys, first off, sometimes you just got to be patient. Let her do her thing. Now, as long as you're crouched, these monsters, they can't hear you. Now, she's subject to turn around at any time, but I know that there's a camera in my cart. And these cameras have flashes on them. And I'll show you, for those that do not already know, These flashes will stun these monsters very briefly. And if you're in bad shape, like no weapons, low weapons, just trying to get away, they can save your whole game sometimes. Now, like I said, I've got weapons. I can just finish the fight and go on about my game. But that's how the camera works. At the beginning of this level, in the museum, it's just a thing I do. I like to load up my car with some extras. In this case, I've got like a mine and a stun grenade. But what I specifically want to show is a little map secret that took me forever to notice in the game. And I'm sure a lot of people knew long before I did, but I'm also sure there are a lot of people that don't know. If you jump up on these platforms, which isn't as easy as it looks sometimes, but if you jump up on these platforms one at a time, big key here is you have to crouch first and then jump. You can get up in this upper level, and you see here there's just this hand little statue, but sometimes there can be like crazy big items up there. Just drop that back down in your cart. So there's a little map secret. One other thing that I do quite a lot, especially at the beginnings of levels, is if I get awkward shape or sized items that could keep me from stacking a lot of stuff into my cart as I go through the map, I will immediately take those items like right back to the first extraction point before I even like go further into the map. It just makes everything much faster and smoother as I go along. Here I want to show one of the newer weapons that was added to the game in the last update. It's the Void Staff. It enables you to do the same thing that Trudge does when he slams around with his hammer. In these lower levels, when you don't have the weapons and upgrades and strength, you can use your own body. You can like kind of get vacuumed into him and it will do damage to him. When you're in better spots like that, you can just stand farther away from the monsters and shoot them, and you can use any surrounding items as something to damage them, or if there are multiple monsters close to each other, they will hit each other and you can cause damage or eliminate them that way. You be careful with the Void Staff though, because if your cart is too close to a monster that gets hit with it, or if there are monsters from different angles and you don't see them all, things can go bad really fast. A really useful tip for the lower levels when you are low on strength upgrades, like right now I have only one strength upgrade, and if you want to move around big heavy items, if you are able to position the item reasonably straight on top of your cart, and instead of pushing it like you normally do, stand on the front side and grab the outside of the cart to steer it with, you can push it much easier than from the normal side. It is more tricky to steer, but kind of once you get the hang of the momentum of it, it's a lot easier to move stuff like this with only one strength upgrade. A different example of that same principle, but in regard to a very specific item, is in Headman Manor. You'll sometimes come across this casket or coffin, and being able to get it on your cart when you're low on strength will make it so much easier to just get it through a doorway. There are different approaches I use depending on how much strength I get to move in this particular item, whether that's dragging it or flipping it end over end. But when you're really low on strength, even with no strength upgrades at all, you can still do this. And just being able to get this item through the doorway is 90% of the job a lot of the time. So you'll see right here, this was at the very beginning of this map. Like this casket was directly on the other side of the wall from the first extraction point. And even with using the cart, it was still this tricky. But if this thing was like 2 or 3 or 4 rooms away, it just gets very difficult this early on. And with some patience, you just push it upright. Boom. There we go. That's going to do it for this first video in this series of things I wish I knew when I started playing R.E.P.O. I really appreciate everybody taking the time to check this out, and definitely encourage you to like, comment, follow, subscribe, and let me know what you guys want to see so I can do a better job of giving you the content that you want to watch. Also, going forward, I've got a lot of ideas on getting some interactive kind of team-up games going with viewers, getting some streams going, all kinds of stuff. So stay tuned. Take care, everybody.